All right, hey people. Today is November 12th, 2024. I'm Chris Lucas. This is my show, The Protestant View. This is just gonna be a real quick show. It's about 3 a.m. right now, and I got off work and I just decided to listen to someone new I subscribe to, right? And as I'm listening to him, he's kind of doing some weird stuff with the Hebrew and then making these jumps about how I think something about how the Hebrew is talking about the King James Bible. I have no idea deal really what he's doing, but it's I didn't think really to I thought this person might have been a decent person, right? And but then he says, "Hey guys, all you need is a King James Bible, and that's all you need." And it's like, well, wait a minute now. I said, well, there is one error in the King James, so I'd be kind of careful about telling people that because I said it made Daniel into a false prophet, and then the guy gets real angry, right? Loses his mind, and says, and tells me and accuses me of not knowing what I'm talking about. Now, again, this is just like someone just like JP the other day, who wants to make an accusation before hearing out a matter. See, these people, you can tell that they're with some kind of wicked, prideful spirit when they just think they know it all and they won't listen to a matter. Doesn't the Bible say something about hearing out a matter first? All right, before you just judge. Isn't that even like it's something unwise when you just make judgments without hearing something out? Okay, because I said, hey, no, it's got an error in Daniel 8 of chapter 8, verse 14. And we're going to go see that right now. And I said, even the translators agree with me. And see, all he had to do instead of getting mad, just say, hey man, look, I don't want to talk about it. I'm doing a teaching, but I disagree with you. Maybe we can talk it out sometime. Can you prove it to me? But you don't have to take that tone right off the bat when I say that, right? When I say it's got an error. Do you know it all? Are you a know-it-all, right? You got to think this Bible was originally written in Hebrew, and this guy's sitting here telling you that no, that you can't trust the original Hebrew manuscripts. They got corrupted, and 1600 years later, we fixed it. Or actually it's more than 1600 because he's saying that, Daniel was written back in what the year, at least the year 500 BC, right? So now he's saying that 2000 years later, here comes the King James translators correcting the Hebrew. And I think that's a lie, right? And I think that's a bold thing to say that no, 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 you can't trust the Hebrew manuscripts that we might have found written, 1500 years before the King James Bible. You can't trust those manuscripts. You can't trust the manuscripts that you might have found 2000 years, before the King James Bible was ever written, right? Can't trust those. So we're going to go to Daniel chapter 8, verse 14. And it says, and he said unto me, unto 2,300 days. And look at this. See, there's this like, there's a cross near the word days, right? And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. Right? I think that's what it is, cleansed. It's hard to see with this F. Or this T. But anyway, let's pay attention to this T. Now over to the side, right here, we see that T, that cross, and we see the HEB. That's an abbreviation for Hebrew. And we see EVENIG and morning. So we see evening and morning, right? So since that's right next to days, what the translators are doing is telling us that the Hebrew originally said evening, morning. But the translators decided to put their interpretation onto the text instead of the actual Hebrew to English translation. See, they did not translate this verse. They're telling you with that cross right here, we're not translating it. We're putting our interpretation. They're telling you the original words there are evening, morning. I'm saying that that is only an interpretation. That's not a translation, that's an interpretation. Because they're saying the original, like if you were actually to translate it to English, they're telling you it's evening, morning, but they decided to put days there. That's a mistranslation. The reason why is because now you're doubling the amount of days. Because it's, and look, hold on, before I go on to this, let's kind of look over here to verse 26. So I'm gonna make verse 26 a little bit bigger. And the vision of the evening and the morning which was told is true. Where's the vision of the evening, morning? Where is it? Come on, show me. Come on, Mr. 1611. That's what his channel's name is, 1611. Where's the vision of the evening, morning? It says it's true, but where is it? Come on, show me. Oh, you can't show me because they took it out. So now why do, you said it's a perfect translation, but it says evening, morning. So where's the vision of the evening, morning? See, let's pretend like we don't have that footnote there to tell us that evening, morning is actually over here. But see, when you take it out now, you don't have the vision of the evening, morning anymore. See, remember, you're not even supposed to have these side footnotes because this is supposed to be a perfect translation, right? But now we have the vision of the evening and the morning. Just one single evening and one single morning. Wait a minute. Now if you're going to say, well, 2,300 days has an evening, morning in it. No. See, this says the evening and the morning. That would say there's only one evening and one morning being talked about. How do you reconcile? I mean, how do you even interpret this? See, look, kid, before or false teacher, I don't know. Before you go and you yell at people and get so mad, I bet you don't even have an answer right off the bat. No, you don't have no quick answer, but you were so quick to hate me and get upset with me and get angry at me, but you don't have an answer to this, do you? Where's that vision of the evening, morning? Pretend like we don't have these side notes right here. Where's the vision of the evening, morning? It's gone, right? That's why you don't change the words. Because you actually doubled the amount of days this prophecy takes to occur. Here's the reason why. Look, the evening and the morning refers to one single evening and one single morning. Now you got a contradiction because this was a prophecy about 2,300 days, which has several evenings and mornings. Is God like illiterate now? Are you saying God's stupid now because God can't speak English? Because when there's more than one of something, there should be a plural. Why didn't he say the vision of evenings and mornings? Why does he say the evening and the morning as if it's only one morning? I guess God's stupid, right? No. And this part of the translation is pretty much correct. It's supposed to be in the singular. So now we got a problem. If this is supposed to be in the singular, why does it have 2,300 days? Because we know there's several evenings and mornings, and right? Or unless you think that the vision of the evening, morning somewhere else. But where do we see the words evening and morning? What it is now let's go back to verse 13 so you understand why it's in the singular and it says the evening and the morning. In verse 13, it says, then heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, how long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot? The key word here is, actually, we should go over to verse 12 too. And I, and the, and, and an host was given over to him, and the daily sacrifice, right? So what we're seeing is that it's talking about how the daily sacrifice was given over to the little horn, right? I can't hardly read this old English stuff, but it's talking about how the little horn, the daily sacrifice was given to the little horn. If you read Numbers chapter 28 and Exodus 29, it tells you that the daily sacrifice is done evening, morning, okay? In the Hebrew, in verse 14, it says evening, morning, 2,300. And evening, morning are singular, just like it says right here on the side notes. It's singular. There's a reason why it's singular, because it's telling you the time that this daily sacrifice is given, which is evening, morning. And then the 2,300 is how many times the sacrifice is going to be interrupted or trodden on, right? That's why in the Hebrew, it doesn't say 2,300 evenings and mornings. It says evening, morning, referring to the time that the sacrifice is given. And then 2,300, the number of sacrifices. That's why it's only 1,150 days. So the King James, by translating it the way it does, it actually doubles the amount of days. And when you read Maccabees, because look, it's even got a side note over here. So are these inspired translators putting uninspired notes over to the side right here? See, this is a reference. So they're also talking about Maccabees because they know in Maccabees. Let's go look up Maccabees. First Maccabees 6:9. First Maccabees 6:9. There he remained many days assailed by waves of grief as if he was to die. Hold on. I wonder which part of that King James that was referenced to. But anyway, oh, okay, they're talking about Antiochus, right? So this is so even the King James translators are saying that this is an Antiochus. That's see, look at this. They put the apostrophe in the Bible in the word. So you got to say if that's inspired, then this note's inspired, right? So if that's inspired, because they put that onto the actual Bible, the part you're reading, right? So if this is supposed to be God's perfect word, look at that little apostrophe right there. That means that this is an inspired reference to the book of Maccabees, which means it's Antiochus Epiphanes. The problem is Antiochus only took away the daily sacrifice for 1,150 days. From Tishri, I think it's like Tishri 25, 26 until Kislev 25, right? That's the length. Because it happened when he first gave his order, not when he sacrificed the pig on the altar. It gives you that time frame from Kislev 15 to Kislev 145 Seleucid to 148 Seleucid. So a little over 3 years. Yeah, a little over 3 years. But prior to that, he also gave out this decree that they were to stop sacrifices and offerings. The Jews were supposed to stop it, right? So that's the time when they actually got stopped. And then later he sacrifices a pig on the altar. But this whole thing lasts 1,150 days. There's no way you can get more than that out of it, because he didn't even do this to the Jews until he got back from trying to go into Egypt, right? So this is about the year 168 BC, around June. He goes, meets that Roman envoy, which gives him an ultimatum to return back to back to where he came from, or if he goes into or if he goes into Egypt, he's going to be at war with Rome. So he goes back, right? And then as he's going back, he decides he wants to go. I think at some point he goes and attacks the Jews. All right, I can't. I think it's I can't remember if he goes all the way back to his homeland first and then goes attacks the Jews or what. I have to reread that just to know. But Kislev would be around let's see here, Tishri would be around December, right? And so it's like 2 months, about a month and a half before that, which is Tishri 26. So that's around October, September. So around there, that's when I think it would be probably like in October some point. He's going and stopping the sacrifice. And then around December, which is Kislev, that's when he sacrifices the pig on the altar, right? Which is recorded. So that time period, no matter how you calculate it, you ain't getting 2,300 days. And so your King James Bible is sitting there telling you it's a reference to Maccabees. And you're not getting around this in any way, shape, or form. So that's all I'm pointing out to you. If you can figure it out any other way, you go ahead. You let me know how that's all figured out. But that right there, it clearly says evening, morning. And then if you go to the interlinear, you want to see the actual Hebrew. Daniel 8:14. I've done this like 1,000 times. See, right here's the verse in question, right? And he said to me, now whoever did this in English, they're trying to have proper grammar, but you're not supposed to put an S on the end of this. Boker is actually morning. Every single time, everywhere in text, anywhere, any Hebrew writing in the world, if you see the word Boker, it always means morning. The English translator, I don't know why in the world they wanted to translate that to days, but right here you can see meaning daybreak, early morning, dawn, early morning. It always means that. Here's all these different verses where it's always translated to morning every single time. For whatever reason, I think it's because the King James authors had mistranslated it. So whoever's doing this interlinear is trying to follow the King James, it looks like, as they're doing this. And so they're translating Boker to days, but no, this is actually morning, and it's singular because if it was plural, it would say Bokerim. It'd have like an I and an M on it. And I can prove that to you by going to, like, let's say we go to, well, I can't prove like how Bokerim is spelled, but I'll show you how, whenever a Hebrew word has, is in plural, you'll always see this IM on the end of it. Let's see here. Let me go to, I think it's 20. You know what? Wait a minute. This isn't, I forgot. Weeks. It's probably sevens. Oh, well, this is good enough. So yeah, 7. So we see a plural here. So it's like an IM. So whenever you see like this IM, when it's transliterated IM, there's like a plural, right? So it's more than just, so that's weeks, but it's actually the Hebrew word sevens, right? It's not really weeks, it's sevens, which is actually shabu or sabu. So this would be sabuim, which means weeks because it's plural, or sabu or sabua. Sabua would be or shabua would be a singular form of week, right? 7. So not the actual number 7, but 7, like as in a period of 7, like a it's sort of like saying week, but it can be years also, right? So so right here, Arab, it doesn't have an im on the end of it either. So if they were going to transliterate this as a plural form, it would have the im on the end of it. But it's actually singular. So this is like the singular form. And actually right here it tells you, see, noun, masculine, singular, noun, masculine, singular. So, and he said unto me, evening, morning, 2,300, then shall be the sanctuary cleansed, right? Then shall be cleansed the sanctuary. So that's it, man. It's real. You shouldn't have freaked out on me, man. Like, I mean, I can be cool with people, but it's like, I just wish, why is it that people just gotta like freak out instead of hearing out a matter first? Maybe there really is an error in it. Are you a know-it-all? Are you like a Hebrew expert? Have you really studied this? But the way you act, you give all these like new Christians you're meeting this like sense of like, oh, you just know, and you're so sure, and you act real sure of yourself. And I always hate dudes that do that when they're not actually sure, right? When you actually don't hear out a mouth. And maybe you do feel sure, but are you sure enough to bet your soul on this, man? No. And because you don't know really 100% sure. You've never probably looked at the Greek. You could probably never even tell me a thing about this prophecy, right? I spent over 1,000 hours studying this prophecy. Just this chapter alone, and the Hebrew wording in it and everything. And you're gonna tell me, like, you're gonna act like like you're some expert, and you couldn't even tell me the years this stuff happened in. You couldn't tell me anything about it, but you're gonna just throw this tantrum and get mad. This is why people like you have no business being a teacher.